Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bets. 2025 NFL season upon us. A lot of fantasy drafts should be happening this week. If you've had them already, you probably did them a little too early, in my opinion. So I'm Tyke, joined as always by the fantastic Mama Mia. A couple topics we're going to be talking through today with a fantasy emphasis. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give you our top five players in each position: quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. Then we're going to give you five rookies that we're going to be watching out for in fantasy. And then we have a couple sleepers that we'll be providing to you guys as well. So Mama Mia, would you like to kick us off with your who you got at quarterback and how's your fantasy expectations this year?
Oh, there's so much going on. Oh my God. It's like here we are again, starting it off 17 weeks of just phenomenal games coming up. I just cannot wait. We have our drafts coming up this weekend, and I'm real excited about that. Been doing a lot of mock drafts, but I'm not confident in a lot of things because there's a lot of good players. And if you can get two players out of these top five positions, these top 20 players that we're talking about, you probably have a really good chance of winning because these are elite players that we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to talk about the quarterbacks first. And Tyke, you convinced me last year when you talked about Lamar Jackson as the MVP. I thought, wow, he did have all those stats, and maybe he should have been. But the kicker for me right now is he still is unable to beat those Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Seems to me that Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, has an answer for the Ravens offense. I do think Jackson will perform well most weeks, and I'm looking forward to week 4 when they go into Kansas City, because that's the game that's going to define Lamar Jackson. My second player is, of course, Josh Allen. He is, like I said last year, he's just Superman. He carries this team all of the time. And I love the OC, Joe Brady. Last year, they meshed very well. And I think that Joe's going to continue to support him. And of course, Lamar and Josh are dual threat quarterbacks. Week 1 is going to be a get your popcorn ready because Baltimore goes into Buffalo, so that's going to be great. And then week 9, Kansas City comes to Buffalo. Buffalo's schedule is not very easy. The next player for my quarterbacks is Joe Burrow. I think he's going to have a really exceptional season. They also have a very difficult schedule. I'm going to say, go out on a limb here, that Joe Burrow is going to end up with 50 touchdown passes. Yep, you heard it here first. Jalen Hurts would be next. The tush push reigns supreme. The NFL tried to get rid of it, but they kept it. So this is his. Without that, I don't think he'd be that good of a player. He had 14 rushing touchdowns in 20 last year. My last pick is Jaden Daniels. He plays very well with Cliff Kingsbury's offense, and I think they're going to remain very close. And there is true magic between them. So that's my top 5 quarterbacks coming into this season, and I think they're all going to be very exciting to watch. But maybe Tyke, you have some different ones.
We're pretty aligned. We have some differences. So I have Lamar as my number one. I glad you remembered last year. I was ranting about that a little bit. I think Lamar. I don't think there's anything that anyone can say that would convince me Lamar was should not have been the MVP last year, and it might piss him off a little bit. Um, he's got the same group of players as well, so I'm expecting similar numbers this year. So I've got Lamar number one. I think Lamar is going to win MVP this year as well. That's what I'm going to put out there. I think he was robbed last year, so he might get a little bit of voter apology for that. My QB number two, I'm taking Joe Burrow. Bengals didn't really address their offensive line too much. Explosive offense. I don't see that changing. I've got Burrow QB number 2. I've got Josh Allen at QB number 3. I could see him taking over Burrow's spot at number 2, strictly because of the rushing touchdown upside. I think Josh Allen's going to vulture a couple more touchdowns near the goal line than he did last year. So I put them close. I'd say more of like a 2A, 2B type situation. Then number 4, I have Jalen Hurts. To the tush push reigns supreme. I think Jalen Hurts, I might need to fact check this, but I think he's the only quarterback in NFL history to have 14 rushing touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. It works.
Might be.
I don't see it going away. It's approved. It's still there. And then our biggest difference, I have Patrick Mahomes as my QB5. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to take a little bit of a step forward from what he's still been elite quarterback in fantasy, but I think he's going to take a little bit of a step forward this year. I feel like the Chiefs last year played a little bit different of a type of style of game than what they've done the past years with Mahomes. Not so much the gunslinging pass first. They were defensive heavy, running, controlling the ball. I think if they won the Super Bowl, they'd probably stay with that approach. But I think since they fell short, I could see them moving back to a little bit of maybe what's worked better for them and what they had winning Super Bowl success with, which I think is keeping the ball in Mahomes' hands, throwing it out, airing the ball out quite a bit. So I'm putting Mahomes number 5 on my list. Jaden Daniels did not make my list.
Yeah, I think Mahomes is a really good pick. He's very capable of destroying anybody he wants, So we'll see. We'll see if he misses Tooney on the front line there, though, too, because the Bears got him.
Bears stole him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we've got running backs, Mama. You want to go through who you've got at your running backs?
I can. My top running back is the guy that I thought was a real candidate last year for the MVP. He ran for 2,000 yards in 16 games, 5.8 yards per carry. That is Saquon Barkley out of Philadelphia. Even though there was 16 quarterback touchdowns, he still had a good share of those. He is the most unstoppable running back in the league, no question. He came to Philadelphia to win. I believe he's still hungry and he's still young enough to play very well. So he's my top running back. My second running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. I just love that kid. He has such a nose for the end zone. Last year he had 1,412 yards, 11 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns. And that's when he does a lot of sharing with all the other weapons on that team. Montgomery may vulture some touchdowns this year, but I think when it comes down to it, they're gonna run Gibbs, and he can break off a touchdown 50 yards out. So he's a special player. My third one is Derrick Henry, King Henry. Baltimore has got to figure out how to use him more. He's there, he's right there. And, between him and Lamar running touchdowns, Lamar won the MVP, but Derrick Henry had a lot to do with keeping that team in a lot of the games. My fourth player is going to be Chase Brown from Cincinnati. I think he showed everyone last year that he's very, very capable of carrying the ball, catching out of the backfield. He's on a prolific offense that is going to score a lot of touchdowns because their defense is still kind of, we got a new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen. And I reserve my rights on all my Cincinnati picks if Trey Hendrickson doesn't get signed. So just putting that out there. I believe he will be. And my number 5 is Bucky Irving out of Tampa Bay. Versatile young guy. Versatile, young, got great hands, great instincts. I see him really, he broke out last year. He's going to stay right up in the top 5, I agree, I think. So he's my number 5. So Tyke, do you have the same players as me, or do you have something different?
I got some different. So you don't have Bijan Robinson on your list at all. He's not top 5?
I'm not. Uh, I just avoid Atlanta like the plague. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. I don't know why, but hopefully he proves me wrong. What do you got there?
So I've got Barkley number 1. It's the best offensive line. He's could very easily lead the league in carries. He led the league in rushing yards per attempt last year. I don't see anything changing over there. They're going to keep feeding him. That rushing game is he's number 1. Barkley's number 1. He's got the highest potential. Number 2, I do have Bijan. I have Bijan as my number 2. I think this is the year. I think we saw it a little bit towards the end of last year, where Bijan was really taking the majority of the snaps. With Tyler Algier, they were always kind of at that 50-50 split until about, I think it was like week 7 or week 8 of last year. Bijan really started seeing the bulk of those carries. So I'm putting Bijan number 2. I think he's got too much talent, and I don't know why the Falcons haven't made him the premier player on that offense yet. But I think this is finally the year, and this might be the 3rd year in a row I've said that. Then my number 3, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. The only reason I don't have Gibbs at number 2 is because I think Montgomery, coming back healthy, is going to take some of that touchdown upside that Gibbs had last year when Montgomery was hurt. Montgomery's liked on that team. Gibbs and him even have a good chemistry together. I think Montgomery's gonna vulture quite a few touchdowns and carries from him. Now I'm assuming everyone's gonna stay healthy here as well. Number 4, I have Derrick Henry. It kind of blows my mind a little bit that Derrick Henry is going in the 2nd round in so many fantasy leagues. I think he was the number 2 or 3 or maybe 4 running back, depending if you're your PPR standpoint. He's going to get the ball a ton, and he's gotten the ball probably a ton since he's been 5 years old. It's nothing new to him. Good offense, same offense. So I've got him number 4. And then number 5, I have Chase Brown. High-powered offense. Chase Brown looked excellent when he took over that position last year. Chase Brown is also going in the 2nd round of fantasy drafts. I don't know if you're a running back heavy person like I am. I would take Chase Brown or Derrick Henry in the 1st round if all of the good receivers are gone. Just a special shout out to Jonathan Taylor. I scratched him off my list. I did have him above Chase Brown for a minute. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to get the ball a ton with that offense and having with their poor quarterback play. When teams get down a lot, they tend to pass. I don't really think that's going to be the case the back half of the season. I think the Colts are going to possibly wrap it up and just give him the ball a ton rather than let their Daniel Jones throw 40 interceptions. That's the route I could see them taking. I think the Colts are going to tank for Arch Manning. So that's why I think they're not going to pass the ball very effectively this year, which means Jonathan Taylor should get the rock a lot. All right, Mamma Mia, who are you looking at for wide receivers?
I can pass no one past Ja'Marr Chase as my number 1. How does he get so open all the time? All the time. He's magic. He has a nose for the end zone. Last year he had 17 TDs. I'm predicting this year he'll have over 20. Like I said before, they have a tough schedule, and they're going to have to throw TDs, and he's going to benefit from that. I think Higgins is going to have a really good year too. My number 2 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just feel like Detroit is going to lean on him a lot more than they have in the past. So I think he's going to have a really big year. My number 3 is out of Seattle, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he is going to be poised, hooking up with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's going to find him a lot. So I think that Seattle team is a little underrated. I think people should watch out for them. My number 4 is Justin Jefferson. I know there's been some issues over there, but I do expect him to have a great season. And then my number 5 is CeeDee Lamb. And we'll talk more about his quarterback in a little while. But CeeDee Lamb, he's going to get more open because who's on the other side now? George Pickens?
George Pickens, right? Is there, yeah.
So there we go. Now there's going to be daylight where there wasn't daylight before. Double teams will probably have a harder time doing that because they have to watch George Pickens and everybody else on there. I know they don't really have much of a running game, but we'll see. Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach, and he comes from some decent lineage. His father was a Super Bowl coach, right? For I think the Bengals. Can't remember.
I'm not sure.
I think it was the Bengals. Eagles. No, Bengals. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, I do think CeeDee's going to have a massive year. Massive year. How about you, Tyke? What are you looking at wide receiver?
So, number 1, Ja'Marr Chase. It's hard to say the Triple Crown winner from last year with his quarterback he's been playing football with now for almost a decade. Chase has the highest upside. Our list does vary quite a bit here on receivers. So number two, I have CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have a fantastic fantasy year. Dak is going to be throwing the ball a lot. Cowboys don't have a run game. They have Javonte Williams, who they got from Denver. They also drafted in like the 4th or 5th round. I forget his first name. His last name is Blue. And he...
Jaden.
What is it? Jaden Blue?
Jade.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was fantastic in college. Now maybe that could turn around. I do see Pickens taking some catches away, but with the amount I see Dallas having to throw this year, I think it's going to come down to Dak and Lamb and probably a little bit of Pickens. I don't think they're going to be very successful running the ball. They haven't been the past couple years, and I haven't noticed anything that would indicate that's going to change this year. So for that reason, I'm keeping Lamb number 2. Number 3, I have Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jaguars. He was pretty spectacular last year. I think he's going to continue to grow into that role. I know Travis Hunter is over there now, but I don't think Travis Hunter is going to take too many targets away from BTJ. He had a lot of targets last year. I think he was probably the breakout wide receiver of the year last year. I think he's going to continue growing into that trend. And Jaguars are another team that I feel like they're going to be throwing the ball a lot this year. My number 4 wide receiver is Neighbors. They've got Russell Wilson over there now. He likes to throw the moon ball deep. I think he's going to go after Neighbors a lot. Again, noticing a trend here. Teams that I think are going to be behind having to throw the ball. Neighbors is the clear-cut number 1 over on that team. And then Russell likes to air it out. He likes to hit those sideline deep passes. I don't know how much Neighbors is going to benefit from that, but we'll see how the offense changes now that Neighbors is there. And then I hate to say it, but if the Giants or if Russell gets hurt and Jameis Winston comes in there, Jameis Winston's going to throw the ball to Malik Neighbors 50 times a game. He's going to have 50 targets a game if Jameis Winston comes in. And then if the Giants start falling out of contention, they're going to bring in their new rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart, who's also going to throw the ball to Neighbors a lot. So I think the offense really runs through Neighbors. That's how I see it. I see him getting a lot of volume, a lot of targets. And then my last receiver, I have Nico Collins. Him and CJ have a good rapport together. Nico is, at this point, the only wide receiver I trust over there. Diggs is gone. And I am drawing a blank on the other guy's name that got hurt in the playoffs last year. The other young guy. Tank Dell. So Tank Dell's out, I believe, for I think the whole season, if not most of it. So I see Nico Collins getting a ton of passing there. Texans' offensive line is horrific. They were ranked in the 20s last year of especially against with running. And unfortunately, Joe Mixon's getting a little long in the tooth there. I don't see much of a running game coming from Texans either. So for that reason, I'm putting Nico on the list. I think the volume for specifically those last four players is going to be pretty massive.
Okay. Pretty cool.
All right, let's move to tight ends. This was a little bit easier for me to decide. So, Mama, why don't you kick us off with who you have?
Surprising here. I went with Brock Bauer as my number one. I think Geno Smith is going to look for him a lot. Then I went to George Kittle out of San Francisco, especially if MCM gets hurt or injured. I think San Francisco is probably going to limit McCaffrey a little bit to keep him healthy, which means more opportunities for Kittle. I love Sam Laporta. I just think, Detroit's got a high-powered offense, and he is part of it. So I got him at 3. I put McBride in at 4, but I'm kind of between him and Kelsey, actually. So I got McBride at 4. I think he's unless Marvin Harrison Jr. steps up, he's the man in Arizona. So I got him being very stable, and Kyler Murray really likes to throw the ball to him. So I'd love to see some more touchdowns, but that's not something McBride has in his history. So that's why I'm kind of thinking Kelsey and him might switch places. I put Kelsey 5 because rumors are that this is his last year. And like you indicated when you talked about Patrick Mahomes, there is going to be a much more high-powered offense coming. I believe we just saw them take the Chicago Bears to school. My goodness. And Kelsey's the primary beneficiary. He's so trusted by Mahomes and everyone else. His hands are spectacular. So those are my top 5. How about you, Tyke? What do you think you got?
Yeah, we're pretty close. I do not have Kels on my list. I think if this is Kelsey's last year, I could see Mahomes feeding him the ball a lot. But I've got Bowers number 1, McBride number 2, Kittle number 3. I could see Kittle going in the number 2 with all those wide receivers out, but I have more faith in McBride at this point. I think his touchdowns, they've got to come along. His yards, targets, everything's there, but touchdown. So I think he's got to get a couple touchdowns this year. Kittle, probably the safest pick. You know what you're going to get with Kittle. I've got Laporta at number 4, and then T.J. Hockenson at number 5. So Kelsey is not on my list, but I think Hockenson's still gonna do what he always does. All right, so next we've got our top 5 rookies that we're going to be watching out for fantasy perspective only. So, Mamma Mia, you want to kick us off with who you've got?
Sure. You got to go with Genti out of Las Vegas. Number 1 draft pick. He was the first running back to come off the board. He's, the weight of the world is on him, but I think he's ready for it. My second rookie is Omar Hampton. He was the 22nd player drafted. He's in a run-heavy offense, and Najee Harris he had some sort of an eye injury. I think it's Hampton's job to lose. I think he's gonna, and I think he's a big guy too. So I think he's gonna play real well. My third one, I'm switching over to a wide receiver. I'm going to go to Travis Hunter for Jacksonville. Mainly because if you are, especially in an IDP league, he's a two-way player. So that means points. He could be on the field, offense or defense. And he was the second player drafted. So he's got some moxie. Jacksonville went up and took him, and they have plans for him. So I'm just gonna, agree with them and think that you got somebody that talented. You think Deion Sanders, right? When you think of this guy, right?
Oh yeah.
He could be the next Deion Sanders. My fourth pick is going to be Green Bay's new wide receiver, Matt Golden. I mean, they didn't really have a number one last year, even though it was probably Reed, but Golden seems to be the golden ticket for Green Bay. Oh, I'm kind of throwing up in my mouth right now saying that he's on my top 5 rookies, but I think he's very talented, and Green Bay, they've got a good quarterback. He's gonna need him, and they don't seem to look very much for their tight ends. And I think Golden's gonna have a big year. The last rookie I have is he's a tight end from Seattle, and his name is Elijah Arroyo. And I think Sam Darnold is going to feed him plenty. I think Sam Darnold's going to find him as a real good safety net. So that's my number 5. And, those are the rookies that I think you got to keep an eye on. How about you, Tyke? Who are the rookies that you lined up?
So our list is, we've got 2 players that match, and we have them in the same spots. Genty, number 1. Genty. I mean, when you're talking about rookies this year, he's got to be number 1. He's going to get the ball 1 trillion times. That's what they brought him in to do. Number 2, now I'm a little bit of a running back person, so take this with a grain of salt. But number 2, I have R.J. Harvey out of Denver. I think Denver is quietly building a very good roster. And I can see Sean Payton just running the wheels off of R.J. Harvey this year.
Really?
I know they have J.K. Dobbins over there now. He's RB1. Injured all the time. Smaller guy as well. When I think J.K. Dobbins, I don't think goal line running back. I do when I think R.J. Harvey. I think he's going to get the ball a lot. I don't wish and hope Dobbins gets hurt. I do like Dobbins as a player. But I think the upside of Harvey versus Dobbins is pretty significant for the longevity of the year. Number 3, I also have Travis Hunter there. I completely agree with you. I think he is. I think that's why he went to Buffalo to be under Deion Sanders. One interesting point, though, is Deion Sanders as a wide receiver, most receiving yards he had in one season was less than 500 yards. So if you're looking to take Travis Hunter, if you see that comp of Deion Sanders and Hunter, maybe be a little careful if you're going to try and Travis Hunter out as a wide receiver. Now, he is on a team that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. I think he was drafted as a wide receiver as well, where Deion was drafted as the defensive cornerback. My number 4 pick, I'm going with Cam Ward in Tennessee. Tennessee has they've built and bought themselves a very good offensive line. So I think if they can get some game management there, I think Ward can have a successful rookie year. They do have 2 pretty good running backs. I do like Tony Pollard. I like Tyjae Spears. They also have Calvin Ridley there at wide receiver. But I think Ward can have a very successful rookie year. And then my final pick, I have Emeka Mbagwa on Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin is going to be out for a lot of the season. Becca is getting all the first team reps over there with obviously Mike Evans as wide receiver 1. But that's a team that I think can explode. I think they can put a lot of points on the board between Bucky Irving, Mike Evans. I forget their tight end's name, but they have a pretty solid offense. A lot of people to worry about. I could see him getting some volume. And wide receiver rookies, they tend to come out sometimes with some pretty big numbers for fantasy. So he's who I'm picking and putting on there.
Hey, those are really intriguing rookies to watch. I can't disagree with any of them. Yeah, this will be fun to see them, how they perform. Yeah, so good calls.
All right, and then next, and the last topic I have on my list are our three top sleepers for fantasy. So, I'm thinking maybe you give one, I'll give one, and we'll just jump back and forth that way.
Super. My first sleeper is Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. As you alluded to before, he will be throwing the ball a ton. He'll be throwing the ball and he can. He's done it before. He can put it out there and put up big numbers. He was a candidate for MVP 2 years ago. I mean, he can sling it, and so I think they're gonna rely on him. I think they're gonna say, Dak, this is your game to manage. Like you said earlier, the running backs are ho hum, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So I'm going with Dak Prescott to turn. He's going to have a great season. Whether that turns the Dallas Cowboys around enough, I don't know. And with this Micah Parsons issue, it might all be for nothing if Parsons gets traded. So we're going to have to watch that for a while. That's what a circus that is. I don't even want to talk about it.
As long as Parsons doesn't go to the Packers.
Oh my God, you better not go to the
Packers are trying. Packers already said him.
You're going to have to get me some drugs if he goes to the Packers.
Well, maybe one of the listeners can help you out with that.
You can always call my doctor.
Yeah.
The CBD stores, they have CBD now. It's legal. I can go get that, but it's gonna hurt me a lot.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go there.
Yeah, anywhere but there.
Yeah. So my first sleeper, I'm going with Garrett Wilson. So I'm taking Garrett Wilson, pairing him back up with Justin Fields. They played together in college. Garrett was Justin Fields' go-to guy over in Ohio. Justin Fields, obviously he's known for his rushing ability, but when he does throw the ball, he does favor specific receivers. So DJ Moore, most recent example, when they were on the Bears together, DJ Moore had his best year ever with Justin Fields as his quarterback. DJ Moore had almost 1,400 yards with Justin Fields throwing him the ball. His next highest was, I think, like 11 or 1,200 yards. And last year, DJ Moore didn't even eclipse 1,000 yards with Caleb Williams. So Justin Fields targets his guys. He likes his guys. Him and Garrett have a lot of rapport together. I see Garrett taking a pretty good jump forward this year. So Garrett Wilson is my first sleeper.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Because that could be like Chase and Burrow, college guys getting back together.
Maybe. I think Chase and Burrow are a little bit better than both of those guys. But
yeah, I just feel bad for Fields. He's had such a tough run, He's a nice kid. He's a nice young man. So, my second sleeper is a tight end from Indianapolis. He's a rookie as well. Tyler Warren. Danny Dimes is throwing to him. So, he's supposed to have great hands and be a really big guy. So I think he's going to see plenty of action. Michael Pittman is good. He's not great, so there's lots of room for a good tight end in this offense. So I think my sleeper is Tyler Warren. He showed up to be, 3/4 of what
you're breaking up pretty good there, Mama.
How about your number 2 sleeper?
So my number 2.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit too.
Was I? Okay. Well, my number 2 sleeper, this one was a little bit difficult for me. I wanted to go a little bit deeper of a dive. I picked Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. When he was healthy last year, he was lights out. He was fantastic. I don't think he played with Rattler. I'll have to double check that, but he's a speedster. He's trying to break the top off the defenses. Saints are going to have to be throwing the ball this year, so I don't think there's going to be any shortage of passes going out there. I think there's only so many times you can dump it off to Alvin Kamara in a game or a season. So Rattler's gonna have to try and go vertical, try and get some things going. And I think Shaheed can explode through the ceiling he has. He's only projected for I think like 400 something yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he can easily exceed that.
All right. My number 3 is a fella called Dante Thornton. He's a wide receiver for Las Vegas Raiders. He's big and he's fast, and I think Geno is going to need his help as well. I think that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be throwing the ball a ton, and if this guy can get open, he's comparable to Calvin Johnson. So I think we got to keep an eye on him. Okay, that's my 3rd. How about you?
Well, I mean, if you're giving away Calvin Johnson, I'm my 3rd and final. This was a bit of a toss up, but I'm going with Drake May. I had it between Drake May and Josh Jacobs, but I'm gonna go Drake May. Drake May, he was exciting to watch. I think he's got a good arm. I think he can manage the team well. I think a good head coach now that Vrabel's there can help kind of guide him the right way. I do see him being more of a game manager rather than a game breaker like Lamar or Burrow or really any of the quarterbacks we mentioned. But the main reason that I'm picking Drake May as the sleeper is I think he's going to vulture some touchdowns. He's a big guy. When you get down in the goal line, I see quarterback sneaks coming his way. Even though I know the Patriots have pretty good amount of bruising running backs over there. I just think Drake May is gonna take some of them this year. So Drake May is my final sleeper.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. That's all we have here at JamBets. Wish you guys all the best of luck on your fantasy drafts. If you guys have any questions on them, please drop them in the comments. Maybe we'll respond, give you our insights to them. But more to come. We'll try and get another video out here each week. First game of the season is September 4th. Eagles versus the Cowboys. And then there's also a game on that Friday as well, immediately after, which I think is Chiefs-Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. Then we go right into the Sunday football, and then Vikings-Bears, Monday Night Football, Week 1. So I think we'll have to have a video out for that one.
Yeah, we'll have to have a separate video for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. One little tidbit: Vikings just picked up Carson Wentz. That was interesting.
That is.
And they sent Sam Howell to the Eagles. I don't know. Something just to keep an eye on. Nothing. It's kind of weird. I thought that was weird.
Yeah. Hopefully McCarthy's okay. All right, everyone. That's all we've got. Thank you for joining.
Good luck.